Hey, I'm Chelsey, and I'm a wedding photographer who has been lucky enough to be a part of so many great wedding proposals. So in this video, I'm going to give you my top 10 tips on how to shoot your first surprise proposal photography session. Us photographers are so lucky that there are people out there who actually think about hiring a photographer for the moment that they get down on one knee. Proposals are definitely one of my favorite sessions to capture, but there is a lot of logistics and details that you have to work out to make sure everything goes smoothly. So tip number 1 is to get the details. When you're contacted by your client about shooting their proposal, you're going to want to know every small little detail, even if you think it doesn't really matter. You know, sometimes people propose and they don't get down on that one knee. That's something that you're gonna want to know because you're gonna need that signal to know that that's the moment where you gotta start shooting and get right in there. You also want to have their phone number information so that you can text them on the day if there's any kind of changes, maybe they're running a little bit late or, you know, there's been a slight change in the plan. You also want to know where exactly he's going to get down, like what spot, so that you are in the right spot when he's ready. So tip number 2 is asking for a selfie. This might seem really silly, but you're probably not going to meet your client at all before the proposal. So you're going to want to know right away who your client is when you see them. So just ask them for a picture of them and their significant other, and you won't be, one of those photographers that you hear about online who accidentally shot the wrong proposal. So tip number 3 is choosing the appropriate focal length. If you're in a park and you kind of want to be really back in the background and you don't want the client's significant other to, figure out that you're following them or anything like that, I would really suggest a 70 to 200 for something like that. But of course, if you're gonna have a proposal that's happening in a restaurant or another indoor location, it's fine to have something like a 35, a 50, or even an 85 because it's a lot smaller quarters and you don't have to be all the way over there pretending like, you're not following them. So tip number 4 is knowing where to stand. It's really important to arrive early to the location so you can scope out all the different spots, and particularly the spot where he is going to be proposing. You want to know where exactly you should be standing to get the best kind of framing that you like. And it's also a really good idea to coach your client so that he kind of like positions himself and his significant other in a parallel way to the spot that he likes so that you can capture both of their faces. So tip number 5 is taking test shots. While you're at the location, you're scouting it out, you're definitely going to want to take some test shots of the scene so that you get the absolute perfect exposure before the proposal happens. You don't want to have the wrong exposure where it's way too bright or way too dark. You really just want to have it perfect for when the moment happens, so that's not even something that you have to worry about. If you're shooting at an indoor location, you're also going to want to test your flash, make sure everything there is perfect, because proposals happen really quickly and you won't have the time to look down at the back of your screen and then make any changes. By the time you probably look up, everything would be done. Tip number 6 is to take a lot of photos. With proposals, a lot of emotions and actions happen in a very short amount of time. He's down on one knee and then she's gasping and then they're smiling and kissing and the ring's on her finger. There's just so much happening and you want to catch all those small details. For this, I recommend that you take a lot of photos or even consider shooting on continuous mode, maybe the low setting for that, and to also shoot at a high shutter speed, like 3/20th of a second. You're going to be moving and the adrenaline is going to be pumping, so you definitely want to have a high shutter speed so that you don't create any motion blur on your end. Tip number 7 is to act casual. If you notice that your client and their significant other have arrived at the location, you just kind of want to pretend that, you're taking pictures of the squirrels if you're at a park, or if you're at a restaurant, order something to eat and just relax and eat for that little while. You definitely don't want to be the one who's kind of giving them any signals as to what's about to happen. So tip number 8 is to focus on the significant other and their reaction. Your client has hired you because they're going to ask this big question to their significant other, and they really want to capture that moment of their reaction. So you literally want to have your focus point on the significant other's face and really pay attention to what's happening with them and capture their reaction. If you hadn't managed to coach them about being parallel or they just didn't get there, focus on the significant other, and it's okay if you get more of your client's back, but see if you can at least get the ring in their hand so that your photo tells the whole story of what's going on. So tip number 9 is to move around. Once you know that you've gotten that like really killer shot of the exact kind of framing and that perfect moment where your client's down on their knee, you can start moving around. You can even get closer in, get different orientations, you know, change your angle. If you feel comfortable doing this, your client will be super happy that you got a big variety of photos in such a small amount of time. So tip number 10 is model release and contract. You at least want a model release because if you don't get this, you literally can't use the photos anywhere online legally. You know, it's really not a great feeling when you've taken all these really awesome proposal photos and then you find out later that your client doesn't want you using photos anywhere. You also want a contract because, you know, if somebody gets cold feet or they decide this isn't the right moment, but you're standing there waiting to take the photo, there's not really anything really holding them accountable for paying you the whole session fee. That's happened to me, but I had a contract, so even though I didn't take one photo for them, I still got that full payment. When you're done capturing the big moment, you guys are probably gonna get into some really fresh engagement photos. And these might be some of the easiest engagement photos that you'll ever take because your couple is on such a high from the excitement of the proposal that just happened. I recommend just guiding your couple into some easy laid back poses and just get them to talk about, you know, what just happened. You know, the significant other probably wants to know like who in their family knows that you were gonna do this, or, you know, how long have you had the ring for? So just really put them in some easy poses, let them chat, and the emotions will just flood out and it will make your job so easy. I also like to ensure that I get some ring photos because, you know, everybody posts that ring photos to their social media, right, to share with their friends and family. So why not make it one of your really beautiful photos so that, you know, your business name just gets right out there. Well, thanks for watching, guys. That's my 10 tips on how to photograph surprise proposal photography. I hope it's been really helpful for you. I mean, if you learned something today, I really appreciate if you give me a like. Of course, if you have any questions at all, you can leave them in the comments below. And if you want some more tutorials about photography, don't forget to subscribe. See you later.
What are you doing over here? What are you doing over here, huh?